This is an LG 385 watt cell, part of a solar panel. And I know this product better than anyone. Why? Because I used to be the general manager of LG Solar. So this panel was the Rolls-Royce of solar. I promised it would last 25 years, and that's what the warranty said. But today, just 5 years after these panels were installed, some of them are officially garbage. And in this video, I'm showing you some of the quite dirty secrets of the Australian Green Revolution.
Presented by Your Energy Answers.
So we are currently spending 2.3 billion of taxpayers' money on these battery rebates. But that money has triggered a wave of waste that is sending thousands and thousands of perfectly working solar systems straight to landfill. To understand the scale of this recycling mountain, I visited a brand new residential solar install at one of our team members' house.
5 years ago, this gear was the best that could money buy, and you would have expected how long to get out of it?
At least 25 years.
That was the sales?
Yeah, that was well sold to me.
Now, who's the guy that recommended 5 years ago you go down this path and sent you absolutely down the alleyway?
Have you forgotten, Marcus? It was yourself.
It's true. It was me.
Okay, guilty as charged. That just goes to show how quickly the industry changes. That was the ants' pants. Today it's going down. And LG, they don't even make panels anymore.
So you've seen your bills?
Yep, they've been slowly creeping back up. So yeah, I think today that's what we're looking to change.
So 5 years ago, the feed-in tariff was a healthy 15 or 20 cents per kilowatt hour. Today, they pay you peanuts, maybe 3 to 4 cents. So Michael doesn't want to sell his power anymore for such a low rate. He wants a battery.
Did you hear about the battery rebate, and is that what made you kind of jump into it?
It was a consideration to get a battery. I think the introduction of the rebate definitely pushed me over the line.
But that means his measly 8 kilowatt of LG solar system, it wouldn't be enough to fill up his 40 kilowatt hour SunGrow battery. And since the Eco panels can offer a lot more wattage per square meters compared to the LG panels, it was the smarter choice to upgrade. And ironically, he can get the panel rebate again and again and again. So the rebate can actually encourage waste. Now, what about the battery?
The reason I chose the SunGrow is that I like their modular system. They're very flexible in their sizing. And as you know, with the Tesla, you either get a stack of 13 or 2 stacks to make it 26. But with the SunGrow, each module being 5 kilowatts, I can stack them up and add some more later on if I wanted to. I've heard nothing but great things about the SunGrow batteries. We've got one at the studio, and they've recently had a blackout there too. And SunGrow did their job, supplied power to the office, and yeah, kept it running. I'm here for reliability.
So Michael gets his dream system, gone up from 8 kilowatt of solar to 20. But what about the orphans left behind? Probably screaming at the screen, Marcus, don't throw these good LGs away. Give them to a charity. Put them on a shed. Give them to grandma. They're too good to be recycled.
This panel with this particular model number would have fallen off the accreditation list. It's no longer an approved product. We wouldn't get approval from the supply authority to install it on any other network.
And that means this panel cannot be installed legally.
Correct.
And if they can't be reused legally, where do they go?
There's a few providers that'll buy the panel and ship them overseas for various reasons. There's probably some small, very, very small market for hobby farms or off-grid motorhomes, but we're pulling off so many panels here today, you would never find homes for all of them. So there's a high chance that this is going to end up in landfill or some recycled somehow.
So Dean from eSmart Solar, one of the better installers around the Blue Mountains, by the way, he did find one creative way to reuse them.
We're talking about recycling here all the time, so I had a look at his truck, and he's actually got some panels on the top. So what's that running, the fridge or?
Just over 2 kilowatts of solar panels on the roof. We've actually got a 5 kilowatt hour battery in the back. So that's running the fridge, and we've got a 3 kilowatt off-grid inverter. So we've got a bullet smoothie maker that gets a start during smoko. So yeah.
So this would be one way that you could recycle solar panels.
Yes, it's a reasonable idea for sure, and there's some level of market for that. We're talking what is actually fairly large four panel arrangement here, whereas we've pulled off over 20 panels today. So
yeah, Dean hasn't got 5 trucks to need this, and then he does this. You do this literally the pulling off every second day now at the moment,
yes,
is it?
We do.
So obviously, the only real solution to this epidemic of used orphan solar panels are to recycle them. But do we really have a recycling industry for solar in Australia?
I heard that you got a big factory machine that actually takes the panel and pretty well gets most of it back into reusable material. Is that what's happening?
Machine is out of Japan. We achieve 95% plus divergent from landfill, actual recycling rates. There's some small parts of a solar panel that are obviously a struggle. It reverse manufactures a panel. So basically it removes the aluminium, it separates the copper in the junction box, and it actually separates the cell shape from the glass. So we don't actually smash or grind any of the panel.
Unfortunately, since this interview was filmed, Circle has entered administration, highlighting just how challenging it is to operate a solar recycling business in Australia without meaningful government support. However, fortunately, we were later introduced to another solar recycling facility.
I travelled to PV Industries in Bankstown to meet James. He owns one of the few real solar recycling plants in the country, and we asked him what's really holding solar panel recycling back in Australia.
Look, I would say the biggest challenge for our industry to this point in time has been the offshore export market, where panels are able to be sold to developing countries, and installers, they will always try and maximise their profits. And why wouldn't you? And if they're able to be paid $5 a panel for an old panel that they've taken off a roof, that is a more attractive offer than me charging them, let's say, $10 a panel to recycle.
That it's possibly not a bad thing that a solar panel that might have 10 years life in it still be reused somewhere else.
I strongly disagree, but let's move on.
Okay, tell me why you disagree.
Well, firstly, it's illegal, right? So there's this thing called the Basel Convention that Australia is a party to,
Right.
which mandates proper testing and packaging. And I can promise you that a visual inspection is undertaken, which is not appropriate testing. Secondly, there are better panels that these developing countries are able to source. The CEC list that is in existence, when panels drop off of that list, typically there's a bit of a supply glut of that model that all of a sudden they can't sell in Australia. We can send those to developing countries. They're brand new, they still work. They haven't had the issue of, like, you saw some of the burn marks, or you've got some of the really eroded EVA or water ingress that might happen. They're the same price. Why would we take advantage of these nations selling them substandard, low-powered panels when they can buy brand new, high-powered panels directly from a manufacturer?
What do you think is the percentage of panels nowadays that actually make their way back?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say between 10 and 20%.
That's all, is it?
But for the 10 to 20% that do make it here and getting recycled, the process is incredible.
I'll run you through the process on this side. So what will typically happen is the deframer sits here. These will go through the deglasser. So we'll slide that onto the conveyor. The conveyor will feed it into the deglasser, guides in the panel to the deglasser. The deglasser proceeds to mill off the glass. We target a specific depth of cut. The glass falls into this bucket elevator. It transports the glass up the top into the sieve, and it will sort the glass into its different size fractions, falls down through those tubes and into the bags on the ground, as you can see.
Can I have a look?
Yep.
So if I put my hand in there, would I get it cut?
No, it's just like going to the beach.
So that's obviously the very small glass. It does really feel like sand.
So the glass can go to anything from construction applications like concrete or asphalt. So you can use it basically as a substitute to river sand to go in. So like the M7, M12 interchange actually here in Sydney, which is linking up the new Western Sydney Airport to the M7, that has our glass in it.
With the solar panel recycling, is it economically viable right now, or how does it work?
We aren't there yet in terms of capturing enough panels to be profitable. We are not receiving 400 panels in a single day to be able to keep that machinery at capacity. So
I can tell you right now, there's 400 panels going off the roof of Australia and many more each day. It's just them finding their way here.
Correct. If we can ban panels going to landfill, we will be able to secure a higher volume of panels. We've got end markets available. There's no reason why the product stewardship scheme cannot be run in the same way of the container deposit scheme. So think of the 10 cents you get for a can of Coke, where it ensures at the back end recycling is covered. It's the same thing for panels.
This means where every manufacturer of solar panels that come into Australia is asked to put some money aside for each panel, so that there's like a little levy, maybe say $10 per panel, because the aluminium and glass currently does not pay enough for you to run the whole scheme without a bit of subsidies. Such a program would certainly turbocharge the recycling industry.
What are you thinking about that kind of stewardship program?
I think it's inevitable. I think just as the way that, we used to throw tyres out before we started the whole recycling program for tyres, I think the same thing's going to happen with solar panels. There's already options and costs associated with it, but ultimately it's a circular economy, and I think we'll be paying a premium when we bring panels into the market, so that as they leave the market, they can be properly recycled.
But while the government and bureaucrats still struggle with the fine print to solve the recycling issue, a much more dangerous problem is just piling up: batteries. Right now, I know of battery manufacturers renting warehouses in Sydney's West and other places to store failed or dead on arrival batteries with no immediate solutions. So in the middle of a battery installation boom, we're not really thinking about what to do with them afterwards.
At the moment, there's no specific program that's in place. I think that it is something that different industry bodies, the Smart Energy Council, the Clean Energy Council, are looking to take up. I think it's something that the federal government needs to seriously look at in terms of the full ecosystem, the full life cycle of a product, to be able to provide a recycling and a sustainable solution for these products, these renewable products that are being deployed.
The government has just put $2.3 billion for the cheaper home battery scheme. What would have happened if the government instead put only $2.2 billion? Do you really think that anybody would have complained and said, "Oh, that's not enough money"? It would have made no difference to the headlines, but the government could have had instead $100 million available into a battery recycling industry to start that one off. So this industry right now is built on good intentions, but our practices are not always the best. If you feel we've got a point, if you like our perspective, please subscribe, ring the bell, come back to our channel, because we're all about educating the Australian consumer about how to get rid of that ever-increasing electricity bill and do something for the environment at the same time.
Please support the channel by liking the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and check out all our other videos. Want more energy answered? Visit yourenergyanswers.com for quality energy products, tools and calculators, and find your quality local installers. You're still here? I'll see you next time. Bye.